Hi guys, it's Colette, and today we're going to be working on this black and neon marble. This technique is kind of a close cousin to drag marbling, and I've seen a lot of people do it, although I've never tried it myself. Most recently, I'm inspired by Sveta Sanders on Instagram. Of course, if you like nail art, be sure you're subscribed to my channel, and if you'd like to see how I did this design, just stay tuned. Starting out with clean, dry nails, I'm going to apply my base coat. As usual, I'm using Ready for Takeoff, which is a peel-off base, and you can use whichever is your personal favorite. The colors that I'm using today are all finger paints. We have Black Expressionism, To the Plinth Degree, Silkscreen Green, and Ink Blot Blue. And I'm going to be working on a little plastic lid. You could also use like a silicone mat if you have it, or even just a scratch piece of paper, anything, you know, that you obviously don't mind getting nail polish all over. And pick a color that you want to use as your base to marble in. And the main thing I found in my testing I have trouble with is keeping a consistent amount of polish between the different marbles. So I'm going to try and get like a good amount of black here. I want it to be fairly wet, and then I'm going to lay out a little bit of each color, just kind of paint in a stripe. I like to do a little dab at the end just to get any black that's transferred off before I stick the brush back in the bottle. And then once I get the third color applied here, I'm gonna go ahead and get just a little bit more blue. Use my orange stick to draw some chevrons back and forth in between here, create some kind of stripes in the polish, and that's what we're going to be going for with our brush. I think I'm going to start on my ring finger because I think this is a little too much for my pinky. Might even be too much for my ring finger, but we'll see how this goes. I'm going to take this brush and scoop this up, and then on my nail I'm just going to apply it and draw it out with some little wiggles that help create the marble pattern, and then scoop up some more and repeat that kind of right next to my first bit of polish. And you can go in, you can pull a little bit down toward the bottom and play with it. It is kind of thick and wet, so you want to be careful not to like get it all over the place. But basically just using the brush to transfer that design from whatever you're using as your palette onto your actual nail. And this looks so easy when I've seen other people do it, and honestly I find it kind of tricky. Especially getting it all the way to the side of my nail neatly. It was fairly easy in my polished sketchbook because I didn't have to worry about exactly where I was going. But like this, I figure whatever mess is left, I'll just clean up once I'm done. Mainly just trying to get some cool designs all over here. And if you see any areas where you think maybe the design's a little too chunky or whatever, you can take the edge of your brush, or you could even get like an orange stick or a toothpick and kind of just draw through it and pull it around like that. And you get kind of a marble design. I originally was going to do this in purples, and the purples that I used, I just wasn't quite happy with how they were turning out. And this one is not turning out super much like my testing yet, but we've got 9 more nails to go. So I do have a little bit left there, but I don't want to do part of a nail and then have to lay out some more before I can finish it, because I think the polish would get too sticky. So I'm actually just going to start a new spot to marble in and repeat the whole process. Once you've finished your cleanup, the polish should be set as far as, you know, it would be too dry for you to drag in it anymore. Definitely is still dentable and wet because it's so thick, but I'm going to top with Sèche Vite as usual, and that should take care of it. These techniques that I do that are a thicker coat of polish, a lot of times I get questions on how long they take to dry, and really with Sèche Vite it's the same as any normal basic manicure. So here's the finished look, and for my first try at this technique, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. Like any manicure, there are nails that I like more than others, but the main thing I was concerned about was keeping kind of an equal distribution of colors between the nails, and I think I was fairly successful at that. I originally wanted to do this in purple, and I did a few different little tests here. I think this one probably turned out best, but it was still not quite what I was looking for. And so then I switched to doing a few tests with the neons, and I think this is showing up really dark on camera, but this is the one that I decided to go with. I wish my nails had turned out a little bit more like this. I'm not quite sure what I was doing differently, but this just flowed a little nicer than some of my nails did. Of course, it's a lot easier to work in the notebook than it is to work on my nails. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you've done this yourself, if you have any tips. I definitely think I do want to get a different brush before the next time I do this. This was the angled cleanup brush that I had purchased and didn't like, and I trimmed it a little bit to make it a little bit more narrow. But I think it might be easier to work with a flat brush rather than an angled brush. So I see a trip to Michael's in my future. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to see the peel, stay tuned over on my Instagram. I promise I'll be updating that soon because it's very, very behind as far as my manicures go. But I've just been really busy and haven't posted on there much lately. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, Thanks for watching.